Picture this: Boston, 1919. A city on the cusp of a new era, where the echoes of the Great War were fading, and the streets were alive with the promise of a brighter future. The air was thick with post-war optimism. People from all walks of life were chasing dreams, hoping to carve out their own piece of the American dream. The city was a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and ambitions, but amidst the hopeful masses, a cunning mind was brewing a scheme. In the shadows of this bustling city, not everyone was driven by honest ambition. Some saw the chaos and opportunity as a playground for their darker desires. This wasn't just any hustler. This was a man with a vision, albeit a twisted one. He saw the vulnerabilities in the system and the gullibility of people as tools to be exploited. This was Charles Ponzi, a name that would soon become synonymous with financial deception. Ponzi wasn't just a con man, he was a master manipulator, a man who could weave intricate tales of wealth and prosperity. Ponzi arrived in America, like many immigrants, with almost nothing but ambition. He was part of the great wave of immigrants who believed that America was the land of opportunity, where hard work and determination could lead to unimaginable success. He craved wealth, the American dream. He envisioned a life of luxury and ease, far removed from the struggles of his past. But the path he chose to achieve this dream was far from honorable. Somewhere along the way, ambition twisted into something darker. The desire for success morphed into an insatiable greed. Ponzi's dreams of wealth became an obsession, and he was willing to do whatever it took to achieve them. He became obsessed with easy money, with getting rich quick. The allure of fast wealth was too strong to resist, and he began to devise schemes that promised high returns with little effort. This is the story of how a seemingly ordinary man orchestrated one of history's most audacious financial scams. Ponzi's scheme was simple yet brilliant, preying on the hopes and dreams of those who wanted to believe in the impossible. It's a story of greed, deception, and the human weakness for believing in things that seem too good to be true. Ponzi's tale serves as a cautionary reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the timeless allure of easy money. Charles Ponzi wasn't born into wealth. Far from it. His early years were marked by the struggles and hardships that were all too common in the small Italian towns of the early 1900s. He grew up in Italy, in modest circumstances. His family, like many others, faced the daily grind of making ends meet. Times were tough, opportunities scarce. The streets of his hometown were filled with people who had dreams but lacked the means to achieve them. He dreamed of a life beyond his small town, a life of luxury and ease. The stories of wealth and success from distant lands filled his imagination. America, the land of opportunity, beckoned. It was a place where dreams could come true, where the streets were said to be paved with gold. Ponzi arrived on U.S. shores in 1903, a young man with big dreams and an even bigger appetite for risk. He was determined to make a name for himself in this new world. He bounced around, taking odd jobs. He was a dishwasher, a grocery clerk, even a factory worker. Each job was a stepping stone, a way to survive while he plotted his next move, but none of it satisfied his hunger for wealth. The mundane routine of these jobs left him yearning for something more, something that would bring him the riches he so desperately desired. He dabbled in petty crime, served a short stint in prison for forging checks. It was a risky move, but one that he hoped would pay off in the long run. But these were small-time offenses. They were not enough to quench his thirst for wealth and success. Ponzi yearned for something bigger, a scheme that would make him a fortune. He was constantly on the lookout for the next big opportunity, the one that would change his life forever. Little did he know, his moment was about to arrive. The stage was set for one of the most infamous financial schemes in history, and Charles Ponzi was ready to take center stage. The seeds of Ponzi's infamous scheme were sown in the most unlikely of places, the postal system. In 1919, international mail was booming. People were sending letters and packages across borders like never before. Ponzi stumbled upon a peculiar financial instrument: international postal reply coupons. These coupons could be purchased in one country and redeemed for postage stamps in another. Sounds boring, right? Well, Ponzi saw an opportunity. He noticed discrepancies in the exchange rates. Theoretically, he could buy coupons cheaply in one country, exchange them for stamps in another with a stronger currency, and then sell those stamps for a profit. It seemed like a foolproof plan. Ponzi's scheme was deceptively simple, relying on the power of persuasion. He had a magnetic personality that drew people in, making them believe in his vision. The allure of easy money was irresistible. He promised investors incredible returns, much higher than any bank could offer. The idea of doubling or even tripling their money in a short period was too tempting to pass up. Ponzi claimed it was all thanks to his brilliant postal coupon arbitrage strategy. He explained how he could buy postal coupons in one country and sell them in another for a profit. People were hooked, fascinated by the apparent simplicity and genius of the plan. They poured their savings into his securities exchange company, convinced they were making a wise investment. Word of mouth spread like wildfire, and soon everyone wanted in on the action. Ponzi became a financial guru overnight. His name was on everyone's lips, and his office was constantly crowded with eager investors. The excitement was palpable, and the returns seemed too good to be true. But there was a catch, a big one. Ponzi wasn't actually investing in postal coupons. The entire operation was a facade, a carefully constructed illusion. He was using new investor money to pay off older investors, creating an illusion of profit. This method, known as a Ponzi scheme, relied on a constant influx of new money to keep the operation afloat. It was a classic Ponzi scheme, a financial house of cards destined to collapse. As more people invested, the pressure to find new investors grew. Eventually the scheme would unravel, leaving countless people in financial ruin. Section 5. Living the High Life. Ponzi's fleeting taste of luxury. As money flowed in, Ponzi's life transformed. He went from a small-time hustler to a lavish millionaire practically overnight. He bought mansions, fancy cars, and indulged in every luxury imaginable. He loved flaunting his wealth. He threw extravagant parties, hobnobbed with Boston's elite, and reveled in his newfound fame. The press couldn't get enough of him, but beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to show. Skeptics emerged, questioning the legitimacy of his operation. Financial journalists started sniffing around, sensing something wasn't quite right. Section 6. The walls close in: doubts, investigations, and panic. The more successful Ponzi became, the more scrutiny he attracted. Financial experts couldn't reconcile his promised returns with his supposed investment strategy. The math simply didn't add up. The Boston Globe launched an investigation. Authorities took notice. Rumors of Ponzi's insolvency began to swirl. Investors grew anxious. What was once a trickle of withdrawals soon became a torrent. The house of cards was collapsing. Ponzi tried to maintain the facade, but it was too late. The scheme unraveled, exposing him as a fraud. His empire crumbled as quickly as it had risen. Section 7. The legacy of a swindler: Ponzi schemes forever. Ponzi's name became synonymous with financial fraud. His scheme, though not the first of its kind, became the archetype for countless others. Even today, a century later, his legacy lives on. A Ponzi scheme is now a well-known term, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones. It represents the dangers of greed, the allure of easy money, and the consequences of blind trust. But despite the warnings, Ponzi schemes persist. They adapt and evolve, taking on new forms in different markets. From Bernie Madoff's billion-dollar fraud to countless smaller scams, the cycle of deception continues. Section 8. Seduced by promises: why we keep falling for the trap. Why do people keep falling for Ponzi schemes? The answer lies in a potent cocktail of human emotions: greed, desperation, and a desire for easy answers. Scammers prey on these weaknesses, exploiting our hopes and dreams. They promise unrealistic returns, often cloaked in complex jargon and promises of exclusivity. They create an air of legitimacy, using charisma and social pressure to lure unsuspecting victims. We want to believe that there are shortcuts to wealth, that we can beat the system. But the truth is, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Section 9. Lessons from the Abyss: wisdom from a financial disaster. Charles Ponzi's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that financial prudence and skepticism are our best defenses against fraud. We must be wary of promises of easy money and do our due diligence before investing. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Don't be afraid to ask questions, seek independent advice, and remember that there are no shortcuts to real wealth. Ponzi's legacy is a reminder that even the most sophisticated scams prey on basic human emotions. By understanding the tactics and remaining vigilant, we can avoid becoming victims of history repeating itself.